Manchester United nil, Arsenal 1. Listen, Old Trafford, first game of the season, that's a crazy banana skin for anyone, right? And listen, first and foremost, just the fact that we got the 3 points is brilliant, fantastic. In terms of the lineup that we saw today, it's pretty much what I expected. Obviously, just Ben White starting at right back, but more or less looked at the lineup and I was like, yeah, this team is good enough, to get 3 points at Old Trafford. But in terms of the way, the game panned out, it was a tough one, and I got to give credit to United. They were trying stuff. They had ideas. To be fair, they were vulnerable from the transition. We didn't really do much with it. And yeah, man, it was a very tough game, man. And it looked like we were just constantly trying to go along. Like, we wasn't putting passes, together. We wasn't keeping the ball well enough. We were getting dispossessed. But at the same time, there was a good bit of hard work that I saw from Odegaard, that I saw from Gabriel, putting his body on the line and whatnot. But the ball wasn't sticking today. And you could see it, like, you watch this type of game and you're like, yeah, first game of the season. You could see even the touches were a bit stodgy, from not just even Gyökeres, from Odegaard too, who you expect to be top with his touches. Saka had a few missteps and whatnot. This is definitely one of those games you look and you're like, yep, first game of the season. Everyone's, not quite, there yet. I think you start seeing people there from like maybe fourth game, fifth game of the season. But listen, just to get the dub anyways, which is the most important thing, I'm definitely very happy with that. What did I say about Ricardo Calafiori being able to be the difference maker? Listen, he's that type of left back that he just gives you that X factor, that air of unpredictability. And today it was a goal that was actually unlike Cala. It was a simple header at the back post. United's goalkeeper Bain there wasn't too commanding. Ball gets flicked on and Calafiori was there at the back post, just on it. Here we go, 1-0 up. Happy days. And listen, from once we went 1-0 up, I was thinking, yeah, we'll get the perfect opportunity just to, transition on United, because they were given space in behind, with the formation and play. I was thinking, cool, just get the second goal, kill them off. Obviously, that didn't materialise, but I thought Calafiori, was definitely positive from left back. I love I actually love our defence and the options we have, right? Miles Lewis-Skelly, obviously will invert and, give you control, due to the fact that he's a midfielder by trade. And then Calafiori gives you that unpredictability, that X factor from defence. It's likely to do something crazy. I mean, in this game, we saw him hit like a Trivela pass out wide to Saka from like the cam position. Calafiori is just a crazy player in general. And, I definitely, have high hopes for him this season. Hopefully he can be fit. But the fact that he started Old Trafford, it's a big vote of confidence from Arteta. And listen, I'm happy for him because, last season had injury problems, and the injury problems stem from like when he'd go away, international break and whatnot, and then come back, injury problem. And obviously Miles Lewis-Skelly had a crazy breakout. But listen, there'll be horses for courses, so, we'll be able to adjust according to, the opposition. And listen, don't even be surprised if you see Havertz come back in midfield at one point. But yeah, this was a crazy game and a crazy introduction to, both Zubimendi and Gyökeres, just the pace of everything, really. And listen, this is what they'll have to adapt to. Well, happy with our signings. And yeah, man, these are just the lessons that you're going to have to learn along the way. And if you can learn these lessons whilst getting points on the way, brilliant for us. Because listen, the first 6 games is crazy, And listen, we've got the first one out of the way in the dub, so you can't complain with those. Look, a striker like Victor Gyökeres thrives on, threading, passes in behind from the left channel or maybe the right channel early as well, bro. And I think we need to get used to that, It needs to be conditioned to the players, pass early and whatnot. Because I'll be real, barely had any service in the first half, and then had that one opportunity, when he was played in behind and just kind of like ran over the ball, wasn't able to keep up with it. And I think that's just a case of, first game and not quite up to speed. He's a bulky guy, so it will take him time to get up to speed in terms of the Premier League and whatnot. Disappointed he didn't stay on for longer, but thinking about the type of game that we were looking to play with long balls, Havertz made sense. This was a game for Havertz if you're just going to do long balls and just sit behind the ball, because we haven't quite figured out how to be super effective from transitions. But I'm just praying that, the day that we do, we should be flashing teams, because bro, we had a lot of opportunities from transition. Odegaard was delaying passes, not quite connecting. Our players wasn't making use of the spaces too well, and it was all disconnected. So it made sense to have Havertz on the pitch. And credit to Arteta, because he's actually proactive with the substitution. We saw both, Havertz and Madueke come on. Obviously, Madueke fresh legs, I guess, because he just, pretty much just defended for the remainder of that second half. Then we saw double change MLS and Timber. I like that. I like Arteta being proactive. He's like, Calafiori's got a yellow and he can be a bit wild in terms of going into the challenges. Let's just, ensure that, we keep the 3 points really and truly. And, that's a side of learning for me, because remember, Arteta, he's the same guy that had watched, us getting pressurised on our left-hand side or Liverpool's right-hand side, a couple of seasons ago, and Zinchenko got nutmeg, Liverpool scored. Then he decided, to take Zinchenko off. But you see, he was proactive because he made 2 double substitutions before the 70th minute. Like that was actually cool to see from him. So I have to give him credit on that side. But yeah, man, definitely need to get used to using Gyökeres and provide him service. Because listen, Gyökeres, he's the type of striker, you provide him service, he will bang goals for you. I'm not concerned about that. But yeah, man, it's just the steps, to a bigger part of the program. My oh man, what would we do without David Raya? The saves he pulled off today, fantastic. That Cunha one looked like it might have, crept in off the post, just palmed it away. And that Mbeumo one as well, just got some good distance on that push, from the header. He beat the ball away, from danger. And Raya keeps us calm, because even from corners, when you need to claim the ball's all bouncing around, keeps us calm, bro, honestly. And listen, in a game like this where things could have gone another way, because United had a few penalty shouts, people sliding all about, Raya wasn't panicked. It's easy for keepers to be panicked in that situation. But man, oh man, even when United somehow broke through, Raya was calm, he was assured, and having a goalkeeper like that, it makes everyone more confident in the team. Obviously, some of the long kicks, wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, but listen, I guess it was do what you had to do to secure the win, and yeah, it seemed like the plan today was to keep going long and long, and that's what he did, and eventually we got the win, and I thought it was fantastic today. Most saves in the opening weekend, I believe, with 7. So big up David Raya, and hey, he's already got his campaign started for Golden Glove, so that's all good. But yeah, man, got the dub, and that's the most important thing. Let's go, vamos.